The new LK9 is out, which is the latest secondary weapon to be added to the game, and is a fully automatic pistol. I've been seeing a lot of mixed opinions on this gun. Some are saying it's overpowered, and others are saying it's basically trash. So which is it exactly? Well, for starters, if you're somehow thinking that this is essentially a MAC-10 that fits in your back pocket, well, not exactly. I mean, remember that the MAC-10 is a primary weapon with the highest fire rate in the entire game, and absolutely shreds just about everything at close range, making it pretty much the epitome of aggressive rushing SMGs with insanely fast mobility. So just to put things in a bit of perspective. On the other hand, the LK9 is a secondary weapon, classified as a pistol and is effective at close range, but damage drops off very quickly and has absolutely no range capabilities. More on this later. So I have to admit that when I first used this gun with no attachments, my initial impression was that it felt, well, pretty weak. The default 20 round mag gets emptied really quickly, and the reload speed felt a bit on the slow side, plus had some seriously questionable horizontal recoil going on. So those areas in particular really need some attention with our attachments. Coming back to the range capabilities, its first damage profile is up to about 6 meters, and this is really where it's most effective. Keep in mind this is around typical hipfire range. The second damage profile goes to about 12 meters, and is usable up to this range, but absolutely not anything beyond that. Anything beyond 12 meters, you'll basically just get outgunned by practically everything else out there. Because of the pretty short range capabilities, range boosting attachments are really minimal and realistically don't make much of a difference. Something else to note is that the mobility of this gun is one of its strengths. So it's best to avoid attachments that reduce our mobility, particularly the ADS movement speed. Having tested out this gun extensively by now, and gone through a multitude of different builds, I can recommend 4 viable builds for you guys. Choose whichever best suits your personal preferences. Starting with the most important attachment, obviously, the charm. Relax guys, it's a joke. The first build is mainly for ADS. As far as suppressors, the agency suppressor is really the best option. Some increased range, as marginal as that is, improved ADS speed, extended mag with faster reload speed, which I really do appreciate, and improved horizontal recoil control. The second build switches out the suppressor for majorly improved hipfire spread with the 5MW combat laser, which this gun really benefits from. Don't worry too much about the visible laser sights, as the way we'll be using this gun won't really matter too much. I'll get to that a bit later, and the rest of the attachments remain the same. The third build ditches the increased range, which is really minimal anyway, in favor of a suppressor, which allows us to have a bit more stealth. And the fourth build really maximizes mobility with the lightweight stock for majorly improved ADS movement speed. So use whichever build suits you best. For comparison to the other pistol type weapons, the Desert Eagle can kill with 1 shot to the head, or typically 2 body shots, plus has incredible range for a pistol, especially with the monolithic suppressor. Akimbo exists, but it's pretty unreliable and inconsistent, and you lose all range, so not really worth it. The J358 is not able to kill with a single headshot, but can also kill with 2 body shots, with a slightly faster fire rate than the Desert Eagle. The Renetti can potentially kill with a single burst. Hipfire is not so great though. The MW11 got buffed a little while ago and performs a whole lot better than it did before. And the Shorty can kill with a single shot while ADS up to about 7 meters, or hipfire up to around 5 meters, provided most of your pellets hit obviously. Granted, these guns have generally slower fire rates, which makes missing shots punishing, and given the high mobility meta nowadays, with people sliding, jumping and strafing around a lot, it's highly likely that you will be missing a few shots. So that should be taken into consideration. I want to give a big thanks to my good friend Chanel, aka Kutsia, for being my crash test dummy and allowing me to shoot her in the face a few times. Thanks Chanel, here's some sweets of gratitude. Now that we have a good understanding of how the LK9 works, we know that it's really only effective at close range, and should not be used beyond 12 meters at all. Its high mobility can be used to our advantage in these close range engagements, and I must remind everyone that this is a secondary weapon, so really should be used like a secondary weapon, which is having a reliable backup to switch to when you don't have time to get a reload off, or having something quicker and more suitable for close range when using a slower primary weapon more suitable to medium and longer range engagements. Something like Man of War, ASM-10, LMG, or could even be useful to have along with a sniper rifle, especially if you picked up a hit marker and you want something to switch to quickly, with automatic fire to spray and finish off the kill. Similarly, I also find it useful if you got some damage with your primary weapon, then switch to the LK9 to finish off the kill. And you can also use it to buy yourself some time to get the reload off on your primary weapon. Now here's the thing, something else I found out the hard way when playing some super sweaty try-hard matches in ranked against high skill opponents. Using the LK9 to go head to head against a top performing SMG like a CBR, MAC-10, or in some cases a multitude of assault rifles, the chances are actually very high that you will get outgunned and absolutely smashed. So just keep that in mind. Be careful and understand the capabilities of the LK9, or in other words, the limitations, let's say. Initially I went with the second build with the slightly increased range, but ultimately switched to the third build with the suppressor, as I find suppressors in general just extremely beneficial to use. Coming back to what I was saying earlier about the visible laser sights, we don't really need to worry about this too much, as we're not running around with this gun permanently, really only using it for short periods of time in key situations. And the laser sights are only visible while moving around normally, and not visible while we're ADS'd, so when pre-aiming they won't be visible at all. Something else of importance to mention, while the horizontal recoil is a bit excessive, the recoil pattern itself always seems to be the same, so is predictable, going up and to the right and then to the left towards the end of the mag. So this can be counteracted by pulling down and to the left, then to the right towards the end, or firing about halfway through the mag, pausing briefly, and then when firing again the pattern is reset. So that should help you getting the recoil under control. Hopefully you now have a good understanding of this gun, how it performs and how best to use it. Well, that's it for today guys, thanks so much for watching. Let me know how you found this gun in the comments below. And until next time, cheers.